Thank you for watching this video. Before we get started, I'd just like to shout out my channel on the side, Cable Classics. This is me and a group of some of my best friends watching movies late at night, and then I edit them together into short little highlight reels of the funniest and most entertaining parts, or some insight. So check it out. We've done Deep Blue Sea, Roadhouse, Fear, The Howling, Excalibur, and Sylvester Stallone's Over the Top, and there's plenty more to come. I'd really like this channel to reach a certain sub count and start to get a continued fan base, so if you can support it in any way, I'd really appreciate it, and please check out its Reddit page. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome to Box Office Addict, my regular box office breakdown and analysis for all the new Hollywood movies and goodies to talk about. Let's jump right in. So we have a holiday weekend here that's going to extend to 6 days, so not all of these totals are for the domestic weekend. Some of these totals are going to include the holiday boost going into Monday. Obviously the story of the week, oh, that was my fucking phone. Obviously, the story of the week is going to be Madam Web, which is another superhero movie that's underperforming at the box office. This film has already turned into like a meme. It's already turned into a huge discussion about the trailers, the actors involved, the filmmaking process. For some reason, there's been a thing with film Twitter where people are trying to defend the screenwriter and attack the studio, and this has turned into a whole argument of don't criticize filmmakers. Chris Stuckman recently did a non-review because he wants to be a filmmaker, and some people are defending him. I don't know where this is turning into a thing with people where they act like it's sacrilege to say something bad about movies, and you can't go after filmmakers or actors or anyone involved. So the only people you're apparently allowed to say anything about are the studios and the executives. You can't say anything about the talent because obviously if something bad is made, it has nothing to do with the people making it. It's only the studio that's involved. It's only producers. It's never a writer who's not that talented. It's never a director that isn't that great. No, that can't possibly be part of the issue. It's pretty ridiculous when filmmakers succeed, they get a lot of the praise. And then whenever they fail and you point them out as maybe part of the issue, you're the bad guy because you have to treat artists like they're superheroes or something. This is just going to continue the disconnect from normal people and the audiences and the film community and filmmakers because they continually like to show that they think they're special, that they're gatekeepers, and that if you try to poke at them, then you're just an idiot who doesn't understand how films are made or how hard filmmaking is what I keep hearing too with these movies. People know how movies are made. It's not some secret to how you make a movie. You literally can find the information out rather easily. I know when people like to throw it out, oh, you're arrogant. You don't realize how hard it is to make a movie. I understand how a movie's made. I understand. I know what a key grip is. I know what a DP does. I know what editing is. I know what cutting is. I know what the rule of thirds is. I know what a medium shot is. I know what a close-up is. I know what After Effects does. I understand. Like, it's not as much of a secret like it used to be. I understand how, lenses work on cameras. I understand how you frame shots and you cut shots. Like, it's not me taking anything away from filmmakers or the hard. It is hard, to make a movie. You're on a set with a lot of people, but it's hard to do a lot of things. A lot of jobs are hard. That doesn't mean you can't point out not liking the thing. Disliking something and then attacking people like you're directly attacking them are two different things. Anyway, Madam Web, $25 million domestic opening over the holiday, 51 million. Now, I've read that the budget for this was 80 million. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that might be them saying 80 million where they spent more, but it certainly didn't look like a film that cost more than 80 million. So if you include marketing, it's probably what, 150, 160 million dollars they have in this. Not a great opening, not the disaster it might have looked like. But 15 million is not a great 3-day opening, 51 million worldwide. I don't think this film will make any profit. It might be able to break even. If they make, 200 million worldwide, they might be able to claim that's break even, but this isn't going to make 100 mil domestically from this opening, and you can't imagine the word of mouth is going to be good. So even though the 51 million might not look that bad on initial release, give it a few weeks
And then if the movie only ends up making like 120 million worldwide, it'll be a disaster. This is just a huge what the fuck from Sony. This and Morbius, all the cinematic universe stuff they've tried to do tied to Spider-Man. I know they have to make Spider-Man movies so they don't lose the rights, but you just had Across the Spider-Verse come out last year. You really didn't need to make this. Just horrible producing, bad choice of filmmakers, I'll say it. A writer that's never worked on a movie worth the shit, and a bunch of actors who are all really talented, and have kind of a rising star, but clearly signed on to this without any kind of provisions in their contracts about the quality of the movie or the kind of film they were signing up for. Everybody just needs to have higher standards. Don't just take every job. Like if you're Sydney Sweeney, I get that the paycheck is tempting, right? Or if you're Dakota Johnson, even though her family, I'm sure she has money, but you don't just have to take the Spider Woman job. You don't just have to take the Madam Web movie. Go, okay, I want it guaranteed that the script is going to be at this quality, or I'm not going to sign up for this. You can do this. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're not going to get the job, and then you won't work. But is it about integrity, or is it just business? Because if it's just business, then we have to talk about it as such. But if this is all artistic, then why can't we talk about the people who sign up on these projects? Did all of the people making this think that they were making an art film? Are you trying to tell me that everyone who worked on Madam Web was like, we're going to make a masterpiece, and then the studio came in and ruined it? At what point was the Madam Web film great? Was the original script amazing? Did they see something? That's what I'd like to know. At what point was this project so alluring to everyone involved? Kudos to the Bob Marley biopic for opening to 27 million, 51 million over the holiday, 80 million worldwide. I believe the budget for this is also somewhere around 70 million, 80 million. I've read different sources on that. Bob Marley's obviously a huge cultural figure stone. He's very, very popular for decades. He's never really fallen out of popularity. Music biopics are a mixed bag. Some of them do really well, like Bohemian Rhapsody made $1 billion. Other ones just do okay. But honestly, I think this is a pretty good opening if the movie can hold decent. The reviews are not good for the film. But at the end of the day, like I honestly think for domestic opening, this is pretty good. My only fear is that it's front loaded and everybody going to see it, are just hardcore Bob Marley fans. And then after opening weekend, I wonder how much it's going to keep any of its box office. Argyle, I don't know what the fuck it is, Argyle. Um, it's just dropping. It's at 77 million worldwide. The budget was 200 million. Matthew Vaughn, this is just a disaster for him. It's another bomb for Apple. Just bad decisions here. Really talented filmmaker, but what are you gonna do? Migration is at 256 million worldwide. I would say it's probably made money at this point, considering it's Illumination and they don't spend money. I want to talk about Wonka here for a second, though. We're talking about filmmakers and success. Look at this. Paul King, who made the Paddington movies. Check this out. 600 million. It broke it. $125 million budget. Let's say they put 100 million into marketing. I don't know if they put that much in, but let's say 200 million altogether. This film's definitely making money. I thought it was going to cap out at like, 550. I'm so impressed with this movie's box office run at 600 million. The Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think made 475 million back in 2005. So if you adjust that for inflation, that movie made over 700 million dollars. And the original movie didn't make any money, but of course became very popular on television and on home video. But $604 million, I mean, I don't see why they're not going to make a sequel to this. I wouldn't be shocked if we get Wonka 2. This is huge for Timothy Chalamet. It's a nice setup for Dune. If Dune Part 2 can also make 600 million worldwide, he'll have two back-to-back films with that kind of gross. I mean, and Dune Part Two's budget isn't crazy. So if that movie makes $600 million, it's a success as well. So just, yeah, this is a really good IP. I don't know why they took so long to make Willy Wonka movies. Clearly, Willy Wonka, the character, is kind of guaranteed $500 million at the box office. And I saw the movie. I think it's okay. But I'm very happy for Paul King. The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham, is at, if this will upload, 143 million worldwide. Damn, Jason Statham. He has some real international pull as a box office draw. I would say this film's successful. For what it is, to make 60 mil domestic and 143 million worldwide. Anyone But You, another successful film here. 85 million domestic, 189 million worldwide. Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. This is definitely kind of movie star stuff here right now. Rom-coms can still make money. The opening weekend for this movie was $6 million over the holiday release, and it's made this much money. I mean, this is pretty impressive. It should be able to make $200 million, so I'm impressed. Hopefully, we get rom-coms again. Turns out if you cast two hot, charismatic people in a movie, people might go watch it. Mean Girls opened really well at 28 million, but kind of just died at 70 million. It's made 100 million worldwide. The budget's like 35, 40 million, so this was a success. But it did seem like it was going to do better after its opening. Poor Things from Yorgos Lanthimos is soon to be his highest grossing film. The Favorite made 95 million worldwide, and this is at 92 million worldwide. So I'm going to assume this film's going to crack 100. I do think it could have done better domestically. I think the release was messed up on this one from Searchlight, but maybe he just has a limited appeal here in the States as well. Maybe Yorgos can't make a film that's going to make more than 30, 35 million. Aquaman 2 is at 433 million. Not quite as bad as some other superhero movies that came out last year, but it's still a bomb. Turning Red, I guess, got a theatrical release. Is at 21 million. 1 million in the States. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Let's see if I'm missing anything. The Boys in the Boat, that boring piece of shit made by George Clooney. And there isn't much. It's been a dour 2024 for the box office. Kudos to some of these movies that have been around a minute, like Wonka and Anyone But You, but no movie has really taken off this year. And even though the Bob Marley film is doing well, then you have something like Madam Web coming out that's just a bomb. And this is really starting to become a problem where there's not enough movies coming out, not enough of them have enough appeal to reach a large enough audience. So then you get weekends like this where it's just kind of mediocre. And I don't think there's enough summer films that are going to make enough money to push this over the top, let alone the holidays. It's looking like a really dour year for the box office. Obviously, the strikes and COVID are a factor, but I'm certainly worried that we're going to have some very dead weekends. Last weekend, Super Bowl weekend, was a dead weekend. And I don't know. I think more theaters are going to start shutting down if things don't change in the next few months. And I don't really see how Hollywood course corrects it. It's a scary time if you're a movie buff and you like to go to theaters. It's a very scary time. But what do you do? Things change. That's the lesson here. We're always in a continuum of shifting things, right? So maybe just the way that you used to watch and perceive movies, which was going to a theater and sitting down and going on opening weekend, is just different now. Maybe what a movie is different now. And maybe our relationship with the industry and filmmakers is different now. I think everybody's coping in a different way, be it the people who make movies or the people who are fans or just the casual audience member. I think we're all trying to come to terms with what value do they have in our lives. New stuff. I'm not talking about movies forever. You still love old movies if you loved them before. If you're a fan of Caddyshack, you still probably like Caddyshack. But I don't know. It's hard to be a film nerd right now. It's hard to be excited about things because if the most exciting thing we can talk about this weekend is the Bob Marley biopic, which looks like the most cliche kind of biopic you could imagine, it's pretty dour. But you never know. Things might bounce back, and we'll be back on top again, and we'll have a fun time. I'll be here either way. I'll still be talking about the box office if movies only make $500,000 on weekends, and I'll talk about it if movies make $500 million on opening weekends. I don't care. The addiction isn't quite as bad as it used to be for me, but it's still an addiction nonetheless. And I don't plan to get therapy or help for it. So if you enjoyed this episode, you too are probably a box office addict. and I hope to see you for the next episode. And tell me, what do you think about Madam Web's box office? I said that weird. What do you think about Madam Web's box office? Where do you think it's going to end up worldwide? What do you think about Sony's release with the movie? And the Bob Marley biopic, give me some estimates. Where do you think it's going to end up worldwide? And give me your predictions for next weekend. And if somebody gets it right, I'll shout you out. That's right. You can feel special for like 5 seconds.